Yo, how are we doing, everybody? So today we're going to be talking about Final Fantasy XIV Mobile. So I had no idea this was going to be announced or shown off, this random trailer. Like, I've heard of Final Fantasy XIV Mobile. Like, I knew this was a thing in development, but I had no idea that it was like actually coming soon. So this is very wild to me. Very excited to see this. Not really quite sure what the details are. At least at the time of recording this video, there is like nothing out there. There is a website, which is FFXIV Mobile.com. I will put a link in the description. If you go to this website, you will be able to sign up to like pre-register so that you'll be able to get this game or news about the game as quickly as possible. Which, yeah, if you're super into 14, probably a good idea. What exactly this game is, though, not too sure about that. That's something that, you know, I'm trying to like look at this teaser trailer to get an idea. But obviously this is a teaser trailer. Like, this isn't a like release trailer, so we kind of have to wait and see. And even like in the video for the teaser trailer itself, it's saying footage shown is from 14 Mobile, it is currently in development, subject to change. So everything we're seeing right now, like literally none of this could be in the game technically, but this looks very well made. It doesn't look like this was done in 14 itself. Like, I believe, as the footage is saying, this is literally footage from 14 Mobile. I mean, I'm sure it is kind of combined a little bit with like just some promotional stuff that's going to look a little bit better than what will actually be in the game. But that said, like this is very impressive. I did not expect them to be doing so much, like to have so much going on in this mobile game. I mean, I've had a few different theories about what I thought the mobile game was going to be, but seeing this teaser trailer now, like it's definitely opening my eyes. So essentially what I'm thinking, right? And then of course I like that as the pre-return to the Wicked Sense. But what I'm thinking is like, yeah, this is a different game. Like, I get it's called Final Fantasy XIV Mobile, but this is like an entirely different game. At least that's what it looks like to me. I don't know if there's going to be any connectivity between mobile and the main MMORPG. It would make sense to do so. Like, obviously, if you can add some interactivity between these two products, then you're going to have some like cross-pollination, or, you know, people that normally only play mobile games might play the MMO, or people that just play the MMO but don't normally play mobile games might actually give this a shot. So obviously you want that cross-pollination. But yeah, literally looking at it, it's like we're seeing the gold saucer. There's a lot of mini games being played, so I imagine that will also be in the mobile game. We are seeing like some sort of like cutscenes. I'm not sure if this is just going to be like the opening for the game, or if this is indicative of the fact that there's going to be a lot of cutscenes, which in the main MMORPG, like that's something we're quite used to. So that would be cool. There is something pretty interesting going on. Like, they're showing a lot of mechanics, like being able to like fly around. That's normally something you wouldn't be able to do until you beat like A Realm Reborn. And then they show this scene where like we have the Lalafels, or the Moogles transforming into these Lalafels. They're like putting on a little show, and part of this show is them doing a battle with like this little minion titan, but like they're acting it out, and then they go into, like, you see like what looks like the regular titan fight in 14. Or at least, like, how big Titan is, I mean, and then the characters themselves. Because, like, the animations are way better than what's actually in 14. Like, there's a lot more going on, so many more effects. The attacks that Titan is doing, while very similar to how they are in 14, it is different. This is not one for one. And again, there's so many characters doing all these attacks at the same time. There's so many people in this fight. So to me, that looks like it's going more in a gacha direction, like something that I would expect, like say another Square Enix mobile game, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Like I definitely put some time into Ever Crisis. I was having fun with that game. I did kind of fall off with time just because like I enjoy 7 quite a bit, but there's only so much I can enjoy from like most mobile games. So I do hope that this 14 Mobile has more going on, because like Ever Crisis is a very typical gacha where it's like, oh, okay, you're going to log in, there's some like daily missions you can do, and then like the main story, like there's these story missions, and the story missions are actually like the best part of Ever Crisis. Like if you haven't played 7 before, which obviously I'm sure a lot of us already have, but if you haven't played the story before, like you get to see the like legit story from 7. Like obviously they cut out a lot to make it more digestible, but like a lot of, or I would say like the bulk of the important stuff is there. Again, the reason why I dropped off of Ever Crisis is the entire story isn't there. It's like being like drip fed, essentially. So I'm assuming that's what they're going to be doing with 14 Mobile, is like they're just going to start with like the A Realm Reborn storyline, and not even like the like post A Realm Reborn, like all the patch content that we got later down the line. I imagine that won't even be there at the start. I imagine it's just going to be building up to the fights for Titan, Garuda, Ifrit, obviously not in that order, then going up to fight against the Garlean Empire, and then finishing that fight with, oh boy, I forget his name off the top of my head, but yeah, the good old, what is that, the daily roulettes that you would do, like Praetorium or whatever? So yeah, I imagine we'll be doing up to that, like the end of like the little, doing our resistance against the Garlean Empire when the Eorzean alliance comes together. I imagine that's going to be the story. It's hard to say. And then for the actual combat, I imagine that, yeah, it will be very similar to Ever Crisis. Though it looks like there'll be more playable characters. Like, because in Ever Crisis, you control 3 characters. Like, you'd be like Cloud, Tifa, and Barret. And you would really only control like 1 at a time, but like all 3 of them would be doing things. And they would build up their limit breaks. And so essentially you would like choose certain abilities depending on like trying to hit certain weaknesses, and then build up your limit break, and then you would combo those limit breaks together to do like a lot of damage all in one go. I'm not entirely sure, like with 14 Mobile, like there were so many characters like fighting Titan at the same time. So I imagine that'll be the same case. Like maybe it'll be like a full party where it is 8 people. Or maybe it'll be, again, similar to Ever Crisis, where like you could enter into missions, and when you did the mission, you would actually choose just 1 character, but you'd be playing with other players that are online. So like I would play as Tifa, and then I might play with like a second Tifa, and then like a Cloud, and then we would all have our like individual builds. We would each individually choose our abilities, and then choose the limit break. Though obviously you would want a limit break when your teammates do, because you do more damage that way. I think it wouldn't be too strange for 14 Mobile to be doing something similar, just with the full party. So we'd have like 8 people all playing together, each player using their own abilities. As far as weaknesses go, that's definitely interesting, because like 14, at least the current version of the game, there are no weaknesses. Like, you just attack and you just do damage. Like, you're not hitting things and being like, oh, you know, I use Blizzard, well, I'm gonna do extra damage, this thing's weak to ice. Like, no, they don't, that's not how things are set up in the MMORPG. But in 14 Mobile, with this being more of like, again, I assume like a distinct gacha, I imagine that'll be the case. And I assume it wouldn't just be like physical attacks, or magical attacks I mean, but like physical attacks as well. Or like maybe there's like strike damage or piercing damage, which was a thing in like OG Final Fantasy XIV. But again, in modern 14, we don't have that anymore. But yeah, you can have different like physical attack types, and then also they're not really restricted. They don't have to have the exact same abilities as they have in 14. So it could be the case where like maybe you can use materia, where you can like add elements to your attacks. So like you can be a dragoon and be using some sort of like ice dive or something like that, so that you can take advantage of that weakness. Again, this is all 100% speculation, but based on what I'm seeing from this trailer, based on Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, which isn't exactly that old, another game from Square Enix, I imagine it will be some sort of combination of these elements. But yeah, those are my theories. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Either way, that's going to be me. Peace. Hopefully I'll catch you all in the next one.